But when you were saying about, those were the days, Candace Azara played Gloria, and Chip Oliver played her husband, Dickie. Richard, as you said.
I wonder what his nickname would have been if his name was Dickie. And it wouldn't have been Meathead.
Oh, no.
Dickhead.
I wonder what's on the tube.
Welcome back.
Thank you for being a friend.
What you talking about, Willis?
You are a meathead.
No soup for you.
Don't touch that dial. Adjust those bunny ears. We're going back to 1971 because what time is it?
It's time to stifle yourself, dingbat. It's time to discuss All in the Family here on Sitcom, my face, baby. Forgive my sniffles and my coughs. You're probably going to hear a few because I had a good New Year's. So
there we go.
It's still lingering. Yeah,
you had a good New Year's, and you also had a birthday, too, amongst those days.
I'm a 37-year-old man.
In a row?
Oh my God. Exactly. It's my Kevin Smith B-Day.
There we go.
Kevin Smith BJ
we all
B-Day.
get to have that, right?
Well, the lucky ones.
Well, true, yes.
Yeah, I actually went up north. I saw some friends I haven't seen in several years, and here's how you know you're getting old. I said, you know what I want to do for my birthday this year? Let's all hang out and play board games. So we did.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Again, you're talking to a 53-year-old here, so yeah, those are good. Again, some of my coworkers, we've gone out a couple of times to this Colombian restaurant, and it's like they have music and dancing, and I'm like, yeah, this is fun, but it'd be cool too, like sitting home, having a couple of brews, playing some games, chilling. Yeah,
they had some horror board games come out. They had a new Scream game come out.
Oh,
and
really?
2 Halloween board games. So I brought those over, and
nice.
Everybody seemed to love them, and every single person there, all 5 guys were like, "Hey, we need to do that again. That was awesome." So
that's cool.
I guess it was a success.
Nice. Yeah. Speaking of Halloween, I actually I had taped, but I had never gotten around to watching. So my wife and I watched the one episode of the Late Show with Colbert with John Carpenter, and oh my God, he was such a great guest.
He's one of my idols. I don't think I ever want to meet him because I hear he's such an old grouchy fucking coot that
Well, again, I wish I had said something, but at near Comic-Con, there was a booth, with lots of horror related stuff, and it was a huge booth. And I'm looking at this one guy that's older guy that's relaxing. I'm like, hell, that looks like John Carpenter. Yeah, I'm sure it probably was. I should have said something, but I also didn't want to disturb when the master sleeps. I want him to get his rest.
He does concerts with his son now. I kind of want to do that where they play all of his classic movie scores and stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be fun to go to sometime.
Yeah, that's his according to the interview, that's his his thing now. Directing, he's kind of although he does remote directing, because he was directing a show that was being done in Prague, but he was at home
he's doing it on Skype like this.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard he's big into video games, though. He's got some video game coming out, and I guess he plays a lot. So,
yeah,
dude, if I was in Call of Duty or something, and fucking John Carpenter showed up, holy fuck!
Hit me!
I'll protect him at all costs. I got you, Mr. Carpenter.
Oh
man!
But switching gears from horror to comedy.
The car alarm going off. Can't these fucking hoodlums wait till the show's over?
But yeah, actually, I guess we'll do sadness first because, again, on the last show we mentioned that the great Norman Lear died at the age of 101.
God damn.
I know. If only to live that long. But this is considered probably his masterpiece. Although he had a lot of great shows. Yeah.
His Magnum Archie, if you will.
Yes. Yeah, Magnum Arches.
Which, stolen from a British concept.
Correct.
We've talked about it before. This was based on a British show.
Yeah, Till Death Do Us Part.
Till Death Do Us Part, yep. He said he read an article about the show and kind of some of the things it was touching upon, and he goes, you know what?
Sounds like
that sounds a lot like me and my dad.
Yep.
Yeah. He goes, you know what? So he bought the rights and started adapting it for American television.
And, well, why don't we go a little over that? Like, the adapting to American television, there were a couple of, early pilots that weren't as, what was wanted.
Justice for All was one of the pilots they shot. I guess it had Mike and Gloria were different actors, but Archie and Edith were the same. And they weren't the Bunkers. They were the Justice family.
Yeah. And, it just didn't sound right. Plus, also, I think Mike had a different name, too.
Richard.
Which one?
It was Richard. And that pilot was for ABC.
Yes. Yeah, now, this is the interesting thing. The fact of, him shopping it around and, enduring development. Here's some of the changes. One, one of the things people know about All in the Family is the opening song. Those were the days. Well, that wasn't the original idea that Norman Lear had. He wanted an actual full orchestra.
And then he ran out of money.
And then they ran out of money, and
they shot the pilot. He goes, I got 6 cents left. How about we just put him at the fucking piano and have him sing a little song?
Although, the ones that wrote the song, which were, let me just find my things here. It was Lee Adams.
Those Were the Days was the second name of the show, too.
Yes.
That was going to be one of the names of the show.
Yeah. But Lee Adams and Charles Strauss wrote the song, Those Were the Days. And for those into musicals and such, they would know those two names from the musical Bye Bye Birdie. They wrote all the songs for the musical.
There's also on one of the Simpsons, there's a great Homer and Marge rendition of this opening.
I was going to bring that up. Thank you for bringing that one up because I love that one. Where
you could use a man like Sheriff Oboe again. I think you said
Sheriff Lobo. Yeah, from BJ and the Bear. It's like, Mister, we could use a man like Sheriff. It's like what was it?
Disco Duck and Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah,
coming out of my A-track.
Michael Jackson still was black. Those were the days.
Which, if you listen to Edith and Marge's voice, I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder if there was, Julie's got a gravelly voice anyway. Julie Kavner plays Marge, but I wonder if there was a little inspiration there.
I wouldn't be surprised. If you think of, well, not that Homer's a bigot, but just sometimes he thinks he's smarter than he is of Homer, which is, as we see, watching the show, Archie Bunker had a little bit of that to him. Although I loved his pronunciations of certain words. It's like,
I got to use the turlet.
The turlet, yes.
Did you actually see the other names that were considered during the pilot phase?
Oh, you're talking about for all the characters, right?
I looked at mostly Archie. I did see one for Michael as well. That was interesting, but ABC was looking at, during their time with the pilot, Tom Bosley, who, of course, Happy Days. Jack Warden, who would have been freaking interesting.
Yeah, that would have been a little bit different there.
And Jackie Gleason.
The great one, yes.
And apparently when CBS was picking up the show, they really wanted to form the show around him because they already had a contract with him.
Yeah, Gleason was already under contract. But the irony was, after ABC passed... And did you see one of the reasons they had passed?
There was some other show they had with a bigot lead, and they were scared. Is that it was canceled because it got so much flack?
Yeah, it was a sketch comedy series called Turn On, that after one episode,
America was turned off.
America was turned off by Turn On. So they became a little uneasy about airing a show with like basically this bigoted, foul-mouthed like lead character. It's like, yeah, you can have it. So it went back to CBS, and the interesting about CBS at that point, they were changing their image. And we spoke about this on the episode with, I believe, Mayberry Man. Was it not?
Was that the rural purge when they were canceling all the rural shows?
Yep, exactly.
Things like Green Acres and Lassie and Andy Griffith Show.
Mayberry.
Or Mayberry RFD. Yeah.
Beverly Hillbillies, Petticoat Junction, Green Acres. Yeah, all those kind of, were getting the axe. And...
But think about, that's a definite change of image when you go from the Andy Griffith Show to All in the Family.
Yes, to All in the Family. So, yes. It's
that's a 180 right there.
Yeah, small town, rural, like apple pie, morals, and to...
From Aunt B to Cousin Maud. That's a hell of a turn.
Yeah, but the other interesting part of the list of characters, like the actors you had brought up, Jackie Gleason was no longer under contract with CBS at that point.
Did you also Mickey Rooney said, "Fuck no, I'll be shot in the streets."
Yes, Mickey Rooney was like, "Yeah, I'll pass."
You're looking to do something a little different with your career. How about this? He's like, "Holy Jesus!"
It's like maybe not.
Hit me back when you got a few less N-words, please.
But when you were saying about, those were the days, Candace Azara played Gloria, and Chip Oliver played her husband, Dickie. Richard, as you said.
I wonder what his nickname would have been if his name was Dickie. And it wouldn't have been Meathead.
Oh, no.
Dickhead.
But
you dickhead.
But another interesting thing was when now you have Rob Reiner now in the role of Mike Spivak. Hey, he's married to this actress, Penny Marshall. Why don't we see if she wants to play Gloria? But thankfully, she went on to play Laverne in Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley, and we got Sally Struthers as Gloria.
Someone who fought for the role of Michael, though, apparently really wanted it. Richard Dreyfuss.
Yes.
That could have been interesting.
Every time, though, I hear about him going out for a role, like that he didn't get, I think of some years ago.
The SNL you were talking about? You told
the
that story.
SNL. It's like, who is that under there? It's me. It's Richard Dreyfuss. I don't need this. I have Jaws.
Well, Jean Stapleton almost didn't take this. She was up for the role of Mrs. TV in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, that was an interesting poll. It's like
she turned that down to do this. Thankfully.
Now, also going on to like the opening song there. Those were the days. Yeah, everyone loves Edith's, high pitchy off key that.
And the irony?
Yeah, no, she was actually an accomplished singer.
Yeah, I guess they've done a bunch of Broadway and stage shows. Yeah,
so it's like, what?
Well, you look at, Archie and Edith, they're not young people when they come into the show. No. They already had careers,
Correct. Yeah, they had careers, and it was interesting that not. What was it? Yeah, it was in season 8, I think. Edith's 50th birthday. I'm like, 50th? Really?
Yeah. Sometimes someone will post one of those things. It's like, oh, I'm fatter and older than Homer Simpson. You go, oh shit. God damn it.
But yeah, and now just switching also to the closing song, which was what was it called again?
Remember something? Remember?
Remembering You. Yeah, that's it. There were two composers on that one. Roger Kellaway, he did the music, and there were actually words written by Carol O'Connor. Did you ever hear him sing the closing song?
I don't think so.
Yeah, if you actually go out on YouTube, you can find where he actually sings for the live audience the closing song.
It's like when you hear Desi sing the words to the I Love Lucy theme. It's
right.
Like, oh, there was words to that?
It actually...
Someone put lyrics there? What the fuck?
It's very interesting when you hear a thing and it's like, oh, wait, that actually had lyrics? Like the theme from MASH. It's like, oh, what were the lyrics? Suicide is painless. Oh, okay, I get why we're just going with the musical version now.
You see, it's an allegory for war. Oh. When your government forces you into a war you don't want to fight, that's basically assisted suicide. Kevorkian had a thing, So this did end up running on CBS from 1971 to 1979 for 9 seasons. And I found 2 different numbers for episodes. You let me know what you found. I saw 208 and 205. Do you know which one's correct?
That's a good question because, yeah, it's like, let's see. The Norman Lear developed by, if you look for the writing credit stuff, the developed by, it shows 204 episodes.
So I wonder if it counts the unaired pilots maybe in some of the counts for the 208.
I wonder if it does. Yeah, total
And I'm
episodes.
sure we'll talk about some of the spin-offs and such later. The end of the 9th season is not the end of the show. It does continue 4 more seasons into Archie Bunker's place.
Yes.
Yeah. But for the core show, with all of the original cast, even though 2 of them almost barely appear, it feels like toward the end, but we lose a little bit of Gloria and Michael, and fucking Joey's only there when they need a joke about that baby. But
exactly,
he's your typical sitcom child who only ever is in the fucking room if he's relevant to the story.
Right? Yeah. And then, it's like, the following Joey, then all of a sudden we get Stephanie for, season 9. It's like, huh?
And I think she stayed for Archie Bunker's place,
yes,
if I remember right.
She actually did.
I feel like I remember her hanging out at the bar a lot or something.
Now here's an interesting one on her,
and she was a 7, like Married with Children, where the family just comes and abandons her.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, here's
okay.
But Danielle Brisbois, I guess is the way to pronounce her name.
Oh, is she French?
Well, here's the thing. She went on to be in the band The New Radicals.
Not familiar by the name, but sing something for me.
they did have, I know, at least one big hit, You Get What You Give.
Okay,
I think that's the one. Don't give up, you gotta get it, you give. It's like it was from 98.
Man, you got a voice like Edith.
Thanks. Well, when I don't really know the lyrics, it just kind of comes out as a garbled whatever.
No, it's beautiful.
But it was interesting that she after a while kind of gave up acting and got into the music end of things. Yeah, so going back to how we keep saying, Archie, the bigot, the lovable bigot, the foul-mouthed bigot. It's like, yeah, he was a bigot. But
here's the genius thing about this show, though. Mm-hmm. Unlike we talked about the homophobia of Three's Company.
Right.
This show is intentionally bringing up issues such as bigotry and homophobia, because it wants to have the debate about those topics. And the brilliant thing about this show, as we said, Norman Lear considered himself the Michael and his father as the Archie. Mm-hmm. He grew up having these debates. And he goes, I think that we should talk about these things. So by making Archie the moron of the show, even though he's, the star,
he's
for most
the
people.
Star, he's the head of the family.
Right.
And yeah, he's, we said before with Homer Simpson, he thinks he's a lot smarter than he is.
He thinks he's superior to everyone, including with his bigotry.
Yep.
And even says it a few times. But that's the brilliance, is you make the dumb character have these ideals, and then everyone else around him tells him why he's a moron and why he's wrong.
Right.
So you get to have your cake and eat it too with this show.
Or
which
eat
is
it too.
I'm not eating Edith, bro.
Hey.
But,
we'll get into that episode. Sorry.
Yeah, there was a man.
But yeah, but that was the brilliance of the show. That it's like, oh, it's not okay. We're going to be laughing along with the big. It's like, no, we're really laughing at him because of his views and hey, we're bringing up these discussions. Like let's talk about racism. Let's talk about big thing nowadays, abortion, and things like that. Like
I wrote a list here that was just like half of what Wikipedia said this show tackles. Right?
Okay.
Rape, racism, equality, infidelity, women's liberation, faith and religion, abortion, miscarriages, impotence, anti-Semitism, war, especially the Vietnam War.
Yep.
Cancer and menopause.
Yeah. So it brings up
Those
a couple
are just
of issues.
A few of the things,
these are a few of our favorite issues.
I mean, like, yeah, there was even the trans ones I was watching there, and they end up killing off a lot of side characters in the show. We'll talk about, I don't know if you saw any of those.
That is like sort of a little bit of an ongoing thing here.
They introduce these side characters and they have no problem. They just keep killing them off. I mean, they make great episodes out of them. At least they don't just do it for nothing. But
right,
holy shit. Anyway, yeah. So this show was groundbreaking, I would say.
Very much so. Particularly as you said, like the sitcom audience before this was more used to that rural, again, the Beverly Hillbillies, which we already covered. Andy Griffith Show, which we covered. Yeah, that's what people were used to.
And what a perfect, we'll get to the spinoffs, like I said, but what a perfect way to open the door to some of the greatest black-led TV shows of all time. Because this is kind of a stepping stone to, things like The Jeffersons, Good Times.
Correct.
I don't know that you could just jump into The Jeffersons if this show wasn't such a huge success.
Right. Yeah. Again, the characters of The Jeffersons premiered here in All in the Family. Unfortunately, we didn't get George until I think it was season 4. Yeah,
there was some weird thing where he was contractually obligated. They wanted him, but he was contractually obligated elsewhere, I heard. Mm-hmm. I read that years ago. And so they had this character of his brother who I feel really bad for.
Yeah, Henry.
Because this guy he was like a placeholder on this show was he Wheezy's brother or George's brother? I forget, one of the two.
I'm trying to remember.
I think he was George's brother.
I want to say George, but...
So he's like, hey, dude, we're going to bring you in. You're going to be a placeholder till we can get who we really want, Sherman Hemsley. And then fuck off, because I don't think we ever saw him again after he left the show. I don't think he was even ever over on The Jeffersons, if I recall. But, I mean, there's like 11 seasons over there, so maybe
I don't remember Henry, like, showing up really on that show. Yeah,
he's probably like, sweet, I got this great gig on a #1 show. And then, bye.
Bye-bye.
Sherman's available now. You can go. See yourself out. Like the Lionel we talked about.
Yeah, but it was funny. Like, the first of the Jeffersons we meet, and actually it's in episode 1, is Lionel.
And that is the one who created Good Times, correct? Is he the one that goes on and starts the Jeffersons? Is that Michael Evans?
I think. Wait, was it Michael Evans? I'm trying to remember. Yep, Mike Evans. That's right.
Yeah. So he's the one, he plays Lionel throughout this. The Jeffersons get a spinoff. He plays Lionel there. He leaves that show to do Good Times and then comes back to the Jeffersons when Good Times ends.
Right.
Yeah. So that guy, yeah. He's very integral to a lot of this.
But yeah, so it's interesting how he, from the get-go is there. And, it's like, oh, okay. Like, a little bit of like, okay, now here's that outside world that Archie's so bigoted of.
Well, and a great underlining theme of the whole show is Archie doesn't venture into the ghetto, as he would call it.
Right.
This show is all about that time in America when African Americans are becoming middle class and moving into his neighborhood.
Correct. Yeah, in fact, the episode where the Jeffersons move in is like, yeah, he talks to what is it? His neighbor. I'm trying to remember, but it was played by Vincent Gardenia. Frank Lorenzo. Yeah, I think it was Lorenzo. And it's like, oh yeah, like it's like you sold the house already? Oh, it's like yeah, his main concern at that point actually is like that he didn't sell to a Jewish family. That was Archie's first concern. It's like, oh no, I didn't do that. It's like, and Archie goes to talk about how, like, in prior times, the neighborhood would get together and do a petition to keep certain people out, such as Jewish people, black people, etc.
The market values drove me nuts. He says at one point he paid like what, $13,000 for that fucking house, and you're like,
yeah, I wish.
There's also a brilliant episode, I don't know if you watched this one, where he gets a phone call about an offer on the house of like, was it 30,000 or something? And the guy shows up and it's a black guy. And he's all gung-ho to go through this thing until Michael and Gloria basically inform him of what's happening.
Right.
And it's some thing, I guess, that was, maybe still happens, I don't know, where he's basically like, buy the first couple houses high, and then you basically rip everyone else in the neighborhood off, but you're basically ripping off your fellow black people by bringing down the value in the neighborhood and filling it with, but yeah, it was a really funny episode. And Archie's all about like, wait, the whole neighborhood's going to go to him? And then he's freaking out.
Oh, yeah, it's that I will
and then
say
he's
though,
worried his neighbors are going to sell and do the same thing that he was about to do.
Right. And the crazy thing, I will say, I grew up watching the show, but like rewatching the show and just going through life and realizing like all these things that Archie, like how bigoted and such. It's like when he says certain things and does certain things, it's just like, oh, and you also laugh. It's like, oh.
Because you know what's about to come.
Right.
It's everyone else. Oh, Archie, how could you say that?
Right.
Oh, they have no problem saying the R word and the F word and, the
no.
N word. They tackle these subjects with such brilliance. In fact, I think I saw a list where they said, was it Bravo or somebody was like the number 4 best written show of all time.
Wow. I would agree that, this is one of the best written shows of all time.
I'm going through, and as we mentioned, there's a lot of like 2-parters, this and that.
Yes.
But I'm going through and I'm like, this one's about transphobia. This one's about homosexuality. This one's about racism. The one where Archie's niece is like going out with Lionel, so brilliantly funny. Like,
and Edith's trying to hide the picture. It's like, and like she has the picture, like she didn't have time to put it away, so she put it down next to Archie's his chair, and it's like and he's walking around and he's going to his chair, and she's like doing everything to and then all of a sudden puts the picture down. It's like, and it's like leaning on it. It's like, oh, it's like
so fun. And the fact that did we ever meet her dad, his brother? I don't remember, but he's like, what would your father think? And she's like, he's okay with it. He goes, no brother of mine is okay with it.
Right.
And she's like, you don't even know your brother anymore. You haven't seen him in years.
Yep.
And there's that moment of him
his
like,
brother's from Baltimore.
Yeah, he's like, my brother's okay with you going out with black guys? Like, it just blows his fucking mind.
Right.
But then again, he never changes, which is actually also brilliant. Like, he has moments of heart, but he never actually changes his ideals, which would be the easy route.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring up, though. It's like, even though he, is the bigoted character, like in every episode, you see the heart. You see it's like, yeah, this is going against my ideals, but it's like, here I am stuck in this changing world. I'm not ready for this. Like,
did you see the one where him and Michael get stuck in the basement?
No, I didn't watch that one yet.
So they get stuck in the storeroom of Archie Bunker's place, the bar, and they're drinking and they're having a little heart-to-heart, Michael and him.
And is this the one also where, like, he's drinking the Polish whiskey?
I don't remember what they were drinking.
Oh, okay.
I think it was part of the clip show on the 200th.
Oh, okay.
So he's talking about racism and the N-word and this and that. And he's drunk and he's like, yeah, well, my dad always used the N-word. He's like, why'd you start using it? And he's like, well, this black kid beat the shit out of me. And he goes, well, why did he beat the shit out of you? He goes, he told everyone I called him a nigger. And he goes, well, did you? And he goes, of course I did. Everyone did back then. He goes, well, don't you think that's the reason he did it? Mm-hmm. And he's like, that's ridiculous. And he's like, Archie, your dad, he might have took care of you, but he was wrong. He goes, how are you going to sit here and tell me the man who fed me and put a roof over my head and loved me and took me to the park and threw me my first baseball? How are you going to tell me he was wrong and that he lied to me? And he goes on and on. You can just see him like breaking down, like, he won't say it out loud, but there's that brilliance in his performance where behind his eyes, you can realize the moment he's like, my dad was wrong.
Right. Yeah. And I think one of the episodes also that was like moving, and it's like the acting of Carol O'Connor as Archie was it's the one, the Christmas episode where his friend Pinky Pinkerton comes to town.
The draft dodger one?
Yes. Yeah, Michael's friend comes down from Canada because he moved up there to avoid the draft. So, take it, Pinky. It's like, okay, because here's his friend. His son went to war. He went, Vietnam, and he died. Yeah. So it's like, and his friend basically says, I'm sure if he was alive, he'd be friends with David here. And he goes,
he's alive because he left. And he goes, yeah, my son's not. Right.
And it wasn't what Archie was ready for. So it's like, you got to give me some time with this. I got to wrap my head around this. Like, it's so foreign to him, the concept. It's like, oh, wait, you shouldn't just go off to war and be drafted. And, oh, okay, wait a second, hold on.
And in that one in the storeroom, as I say, they never change him by the end of an episode. It's not like a Full House episode where you learn a lesson and you're different.
No, and we don't get that music to give us the sappy moment.
So, as he's telling this to Mike, he goes, you listen to your father because your father loves you and your father takes care of you. And as he's kind of doing it, he's basically laying down and he passes out because he's drunk.
Right.
And he's laying on the floor and you have this like a minute long, like poignant moment of Michael looking at him. And there's no words that he says. And he's just like, he's starting to understand Archie. Like, he's starting to realize what his dad did to him to make him who, and he even mentions in that monologue of his, my dad threw me in the closet for 7 hours to teach me to be good because he loved me. So there was obviously abuse there as well. Right. So now Michael's looking at Archie sleeping drunk on the floor and going, holy fuck, like, this is a messed up man whose father fucked him up.
Right. And it's like, and here I am always judging him. Like,
yeah. And he puts a blanket over him and he just says like, good night, Arch, or something. And he sits there in that quiet. And you're like, that's the brilliance of this fucking show. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, it truly is a spectacular show. And like the characters, like our main characters, and then you have the characters of the Jeffersons, and like Maude. It's like all these characters that went on to other shows. It's like, oh my god! It's like
I wonder if Maude was a planned thing. If they were like, hey, let's do a show with B. Arthur, and then they put her on two episodes. I think it was.
I believe so. Yes.
Or if she was just so good in those 2 episodes that they then were like, hey, let's go do a.
Now, did you watch any of the Maude episodes?
I've seen the clips from the clip show.
Okay.
'Cause actually, it's in the last season. The 200th episode celebration is over an hour long. It's got a lot of shit in it. And it's hosted by Norman Lear.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that was the episode that... here's a question. Like, as we've come to bring up the past few episodes, what did you watch this on?
On Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Freebie on Amazon Prime.
Freebie on, yeah. And that's the way I watched it. And it was...
I do have the box set, but it's in storage still. I couldn't find it when I was up there last.
Gotcha. But at the same point, when I first, clicked to play All in the Family, the first thing it does is try to get me to that episode that you're talking about, the 200th episode. I'm like, no. I want to start at 1.
Really? Weird.
So it's like, oh, okay, no, come on, let's go back and watch the rest, and I'll make my own clips, okay?
I think I actually have a VHS of that 200th as well, like a anniversary VHS or something.
Wow.
But yeah, I couldn't find my box. I have the Jeffersons box set and the All in the Family box set and the Good Times box set in storage.
Oh, nice.
But don't have the Maude box set yet. I know there is one.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how many series that went on, Maude. I forget.
What are we in Britain? Series?
Yes, how many series did that go on for? Let's see, how many seasons? 6 seasons.
Do you see how many Emmys this show won?
Oh my God! Let's look at the rankings, like for the ratings. Season 1, it was only ranked 34th. It was on Tuesdays at 9:30. That probably contributed to its ranking. So CBS decides, oh, you know what? We're going to put it on Saturday at 8 o'clock. Yeah, let's give it a little more real prime time. Yeah, so for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons, it's the number 1 show.
It actually holds a record, tied with 2 other shows. Did you see what they were?
No, I did not.
There's only 3 shows that held the Nielsen ratings number 1 spot for 5 consecutive seasons. This is one.
Okay.
Do you have any guesses?
Okay, I'm gonna go on a limb, being that we talked about it and such, and I was kind of flabbergasted. But Beverly Hillbillies?
No.
Okay.
The Cosby Show.
Cosby Show. Oh, all right, I see that.
And the other one,
MASH?
unfortunately, is a reality show.
Oh no.
Yeah, one of the big hits of the early 2000s, late 90s. There, American Idol.
Oh, okay.
Those are apparently the only 3 shows that have ever held the Nielsen ratings number 1 spot for 5 seasons consecutively.
Wow.
But yeah, this one was 1971 to 1976, number 1 show.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Especially if you look at the caliber of shows that were out at that time.
Yeah. Again, my heyday was like, the sitcoms of the 70s and like 80s. That was my sweet
I wouldn't
spot.
be surprised though if maybe the Jeffersons was up there in those later seasons after that.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
But yeah, this show won 22 Emmy Awards. And I think it said it had 55 nominations.
Wow. Yeah, and the whole main cast, every one of them won an Emmy. At least one. That's the insane part.
Every one of them, Dingbat, Baby Goyle.
No.
Meathead.
Not Baby Goyle. Little girl.
A little Goyle, yeah. Well, this takes place over in your neck of the woods, kind of, Queens.
Yeah. In Queens.
Was Estonia area?
I believe that's the part of Queens that, was it Estonia? I'm trying to, because here's the strange part. There's the place that it's meant to be, and then the exterior shots. The exterior shot is actually in Glendale, Queens.
I thought you were going to say California. I was like, what?
Yeah, Glendale, California.
704 Hauser is where they live. And yeah, at the exterior doesn't have a porch, right? But their actual house has a porch in the show.
Yes. And that's what I mean. It's like, okay, you have the exterior shots, and then you have the Yeah, like where it's meant to be.
The King of Queens did that a lot too, because their exterior had like no porch. And then episodes, same thing, they'd go out in the front and there'd be a porch.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Yeah, and just so you know, if you look for the bunker's house, you are not going to find it on 704 Hauser Street, because there is no Hauser Street in Astoria, Queens. Or in Queens, general.
That was also one of the spin-offs, was just called 704 Hauser, and was it like a black family moves into their house?
Yeah, the Cumberbatches.
I think it was James John Amos.
John Amos, yeah, from Good Times.
And the chick from News Radio.
Oh,
Lisa,
wow.
what's her name?
Oh, what the hell was her name again?
Lisa from News Radio, I think, was like the white neighbor or something.
Oh, wow.
Like, what the hell?
But yeah, there's a lot of Queens centric like parts of the story, like growing up in, like a lower middle class family in Queens.
I felt bad for old Rob Reiner. They said he was only 24 when he started the show.
Oh.
But by the middle of the first season, he was already going bald.
Yeah.
So by season 2, he already had to wear a hairpiece the whole rest of the show.
Yeah, I didn't realize it, but like when you're watching, it's like, yeah, I guess that is not his hair.
24 years old to lose your hair, like holy shit.
Yeah.
I was about 32, I think, when I started basically losing mine, but God, 24, fuck.
Yeah.
Poor bastard.
But yeah, like Rob Reiner, who also, for people that were not in the role, not in the know, his dad, the great Carl Reiner.
Yeah, TV icon as himself. Yes,
correct. And yeah, he was the writer director or creator director of a few pretty good movies.
He directed Misery, didn't he?
Yeah.
With Kathy Bates and James Caan?
Yeah. Princess Bride.
Princess Bride, yep.
Stand By Me.
Oh, another Stephen King.
Yep. Yeah, he has actually a couple of his Stephen King shorts. Well, no, actually, Misery is a full book. Yeah. But
I was never a big fan of Stand By Me, more of a drama to me, but Misery
okay.
I absolutely love.
Yeah, Misery is incredible.
Misery is absolutely brilliant.
I don't know. By the way, look out there on the internet for the lady complaining at
Oh, I've seen it.
Yes,
I've seen it.
Yes, she's at Barnes & Noble complaining, how do you not have the books?
Cockadookie or cockadoodie.
Cockadoodly. Doody.
Yeah, that shit's funny.
It's like by Paul Sheldon, the Misery series. It's the most popular.
Kathy Bates won an Oscar for that movie. That's how good it is.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was one of her first roles, wasn't it?
I want to say it was probably one of her earlier roles, and also, yeah, I was so happy because usually horrors, horror, thriller, that type of things, they don't usually get nominated nor win awards.
The Jordan Peele one. Get Out, I think.
Get Out. Oh, yes. Yeah, actually, Jordan Peele himself, won.
He kind of brought the horror back to the Oscars, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Jordan.
Right.
But, yeah, it's interesting with the, Misery. But, yeah, Rob Reiner directed those. Also, this is Spinal Tap. I don't know if you ever saw the first mockumentary.
Did you? I just read something that they're thinking about doing some follow-up to that.
Yes, I heard, and I hope they don't.
I don't know. It could be interesting.
All
these bands, all these old rock bands are doing like comeback tours.
Yes.
If they did it like that.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Could be good. Could be good.
But I love also, did you see years ago, I don't know if you watched a lot of the celebrity roasts. I know we brought it up before, with Gilbert and Norm.
I just watched the Drew Carey one out of nowhere. They had a Friars Club on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Drew Carey.
Yeah, that was a while ago. But another one a while ago was Rob Reiner. And one of the roasters was Triumph the Insult Comedy Dog. It's like,
Yes.
Look at you. What happened to you? You got so fat. What did you do? Did you eat Carol O'Connor?
Yeah, the roaster. Was that must have been a Friars Club, right?
Yes, it was. But like again, this show was so well cast. Although I will say, for some of the other characters, sometimes they did recycle a little, because I brought up Vincent Gardenia as his one neighbor that sells to the Jeffersons, Mr. Frank Lorenzo. But he also appears in another episode. Did you? I think you brought up.
He was the swinger, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And who was his
With
wife?
Rue McClanahan.
Rue McClanahan from Golden Girls.
Golden Girls, yeah. Which is funny, since Maude was B. Arthur, spun off of this.
Yes.
Rue McClanahan's character on Golden Girls, Blanche, is the slutty character.
Yep.
And then she plays a swinger on this. She was also kind of sexually open on Mama's Family, right?
I think so. Yeah,
so she was
it's
on,
been a while since I watched that one.
She was on that with Betty White.
Wait, Mama's Family? No. Well, she was in Golden Girls with Betty White, but Mama's Family...
Betty White was also on Mama's Family, right?
I don't remember her on Mama's Family. Like,
I think she was when they brought it back in the 80s.
Oh. Because, like, you had Ken Berry, you had Vicki Lawrence.
Was one, we'll get to that show, but that was one of those weird shows that was, like, so popular in syndication, they brought it back.
Oh.
After the reruns became huge.
Okay, so yeah, maybe I missed when Betty was on.
Yeah, there you go, right there. See? Can you see that? Focus. Well, anyway, it's a photo of Mama, Ken Berry, and Betty White.
Okay.
1983.
Wow. I guess I just don't remember. Let's see.
There you go.
Oh, okay. That's better.
And then there's one actually with Rue and her and Mama right there.
Actually, one of the directors that did the most episodes, Paul Bogart.
I did see his name a lot, yeah.
Yeah, he was also one of the main directors for The Golden Girls. So it's a little ironic.
He might have come up on a previous episode, because I know there was somebody on another show that we had covered that had done a lot, like most of the episodes of Golden Girls. I don't know if it was him or not, but were you like shocked when that was it Stretch Cunningham showed up?
Oh,
I was like, that's like that character actor from everything. Was it James Cromwell? Is that his name?
James Cromwell. That'll do. That'll do.
He's from yeah. He's in Babe. He was the warden in like the Green Mile.
Yeah, that's right.
He was also the warden in Longest Yard with Adam Sandler.
Wow.
he's one of those character actors that you know from everything. I was like, holy shit.
Yep.
Do you know why they introduced him on the show? I didn't learn that till today.
No. What was the reason?
So apparently there was a salary dispute with Carol O'Connor.
Oh.
And he refused to shoot 3 episodes of the show. Which I was wondering, because when I was going through watching, I didn't watch them, but there's 3 episodes, part 1, 2, and 3, called Archie is Missing. Did you see those?
No, I did not.
I think it's the beginning of a season. So it says Archie is Missing parts 1, 2, and 3. Mm-hmm. And apparently that was during his contract dispute, where they were entirely ready to kill off Archie Bunker.
Oh my God.
And this wasn't like the end of the show. I think it must have been like season 5 or 6, something like that. And they were like, you know what? Fuck him. If he doesn't come back at the end of this Archie's Missing shit, we're going to kill him off. Damn. So they made an agreement though, but I guess they created this Stretch Cunningham character. He was going to be one of Archie's friends who moved into the house. Yeah,
he's one of Archie's friends and coworkers.
He was going to move into the house and become like the head of the household. And like the way the show was going to go was like, oh, they're getting used to the goofy new guy. So if you notice though, they end up killing Stretch.
I know. And that's where also Archie learns that Stretch was...
What? Jewish?
Yeah, Jewish.
That's the Jewish one?
Yeah. Yeah, when Archie's giving the eulogy, or I'm sorry, The urology.
But that was part of Carol O'Connor's contract to come back.
Got
He
it.
said, "Okay." He goes, "Okay, you created this fucking character
To
to replace me." He goes, "If I come back, you're killing him off." And James Cromwell said, "I think Carol got mad at me because in our scenes together, there was only a couple. I was getting more laughs than him."
Oh.
But he was really, you know what he was playing? He was playing fucking Honeymooners buddy over there. He was doing the same shit.
Yeah. Yeah, he was basically doing a Ed Norton.
Yeah.
Not Edward Norton. That's a totally different thing.
So he was kind of doing the same thing, but yeah, he said that he thinks the reason that was part of his stipulation to come back was he was getting more laughs than him.
Wow.
So they ended up killing his ass off too. And then the drag character was in a bunch of episodes, was Edith's friend, and they did a 2-part episode of the Christmas one of that. Did you see that one?
No, I did not.
So you had our Edith's friend, was it Beverly LaSalle? Which they mentioned the LaSalle car in the song.
Yes,
so
our old LaSalle ran great.
And they're like, "Oh, she's doing a drag show at Carnegie Hall." And then her and Mike walk to the end of the street to catch a cab or something, and they get beat up by a gang, and Beverly gets killed.
Oh my God.
And they do a whole episode. It's called Edith's Crisis of Faith, I think, where she stops believing in God.
Oh.
And Michael survives the incident, of course, but Beverly is killed, dies in the hospital. And it's all about like Edith not wanting to go to church and shit like that. So it's very interesting. But that character, they do a lot of the typical gay jokes and stuff. Like Archie's trying to get back at a friend of his, so he hooks up a friend with Beverly, not knowing it's a man, but you know.
Oh God.
So yeah, there's some strange things they chose to do, especially with like they and those weren't the only two. I've seen several other funeral episodes of random characters that come in and leave, and
Jeez.
it's like, do you not know any other way to get rid of a character? You can't write them out. You're gonna kill every fucking character you bring in. But to be fair, they were very good, poignant episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Like they do add to the show. They add to the heart of your main characters. But it is strange that, you have to kill everybody.
Yeah, that's a little odd, but yeah, they did have a habit of
Isabella Sanford, Mrs. Jefferson, Wheezy Jefferson, she did not want to leave All in the Family to do the Jefferson spinoff.
And they said, incredible.
"Well, they were like, we're going to give you your own show." She's like, "I don't want to. This show's a hit." And they said, "Well, we're going to write you out either way. So either way, either you go have your own show and you have a job, or you stay here and you end up with no job." So she's like, "Okay, I guess I'll do it," which ironically ran longer than the show did.
Right. Yeah, and I can't picture anyone but Isabel Sanford as Wheezy.
Yeah. Yeah, and seeing what we've seen with them recasting people, they would have no problem probably doing a Jefferson spinoff recasting Wheezy. So, yeah. But it reminded me of last episode with, or 2 episodes ago with Norman Fell and them going, "I don't want to leave Three's Company."
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that was like when we went over what you were saying. It's like that was a really crappy way to. It's like, oh no, yeah, it's gonna go for. It's like, and you're canceled.
Well, luckily for the Jeffersons, it worked out pretty damn well.
Oh yeah. But what were some of your favorite episodes of the show? I gotta ask, like.
Every single one that I watched.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Even the lowest tier of the episodes I watched was still fucking brilliant. And honestly, you do miss, and it was mostly in the later seasons. I know you said you watched a lot of earlier ones.
Yeah. Early and middle, yeah.
You do miss Michael when he's not around to fuck with Archie.
Oh yeah.
So there is a lot of, like, they move out, I want to say beginning of season 7 or something like that. They move out of the house.
Yeah, well, like there's a couple of things. First is when they buy the Jeffersons' old house, so they're the neighbors, and then what is it? I think was it end of 8 or whatever, when basically it's like, oh, they moved to West Coast.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's one, I think in the last season maybe, where the bunkers go to California.
Yeah.
Which I didn't watch. It was a 2-part Christmas one.
Same here. I didn't watch that one.
Well, I think if I remember watching the pilot of Gloria, and she's divorced, I think, from Michael in that, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Because she's a vet tech, I want to say. She works at a veterinarian's office.
Well, yeah,
like,
I don't know, maybe in season 2 of that. Oh, that's right. It only got 1 season.
Yeah, no, and it's one of those weird things like we talked about the Lou Grant spinoff of Mary Tyler Moore,
yep.
where you take a sitcom and you pull a fucking hilarious character and you put him in a drama.
Yeah, not a,
because if I remember right,
idea.
Gloria is like a drama, and it's like her and Joey and her workplace, and you're like, what the fuck? And Carol O'Connor was in the pilot. He like drops her off there or something. We're like, okay,
yeah, but yeah, it just was not.
Because especially by that point, they had already killed off Edith on
Archie
Bunker's place. So you're like, fuck.
And that was just like off screen. It's like, oh, okay, yeah.
So then you've lost Edith and Mike. You're like, fuck, all right. But the episode with the swingers is hilarious. I didn't revisit it this time, but I've seen it several times. I told you to watch it. I don't know if you did. The one with the swastika on the door is fucking crazy. Did you watch that one?
I didn't get to watch that one this time around, but yeah, like I've seen that one before.
Holy shit! Like Archie comes down to get the morning paper. He opens the door and there's like a swastika painted on the fucking front door, and you're like, holy shit! But there's so much comedy and like what the fuck, and it goes through the whole episode, and at the end you hear like an explosion, and Archie looks out the door, and they're like, "What happened, Archie?" And he's like, they blew him up in his car. They fucking a car bombed the fucking Jewish guy next door. It was the wrong house.
I think it was Paul. I think was the guy's name.
And you're like, holy fuck! And it's like, of course, another one I've seen multiple times, so I didn't revisit this time. The Sammy Davis Jr. episode.
Oh, that was such a great episode.
Which is ranked among the greatest comedy episodes of all time.
Yes, and yeah, I love on that episode how. Yeah, Archie had a problem with on Johnny Carson, like Sammy Davis was on, and I forget what actress, it's a white actress, and Sammy Davis has to he kisses her like on the the episode of Johnny Carson there. It's like so Archie has a little problem with that, so Sammy explains it. It's like. It's in my contract. Like when I'm there with a white person, I have to kiss them.
So was that line cut out in the episode on Amazon?
No,
it was there after the laugh, the long ass laugh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess there's something where that they said it's the longest sustained laugh, at least on the show. Was it all time or just the show? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like Archie had a line. After this kiss, like Sammy Davis kisses him on the cheek for a picture, and the laugh went so long, they said that in most airings and reruns, they cut Archie's line afterwards.
Oh, wait, what was it? I'm trying to remember now.
It was about the contract.
Oh yeah, he said the contract they talked about earlier.
Okay, so there's a line that Archie had after the kiss, after the laugh.
Oh, okay.
Where he says something like, well, it isn't his contract or something like that.
I think he did say it. Like
so,
in this
depending on where you watch it or which version, where it's streaming or reruns, that line may or may not be there. Because they said usually they let the laugh just ride. But, yeah.
Oh, good, but a great episode. Yeah, and how did he meet Sammy Davis Jr.?
Driving his cab, right? And he left his briefcase in there. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, because Charlie had Charlie
Munson's cab. Is that the one?
Munson's cab. Archie had like
a second job. He did most of the show.
Yep. Yeah, doing the cab. Yeah, he worked at a tool and die place, as his main job. And then later on, he winds up buying Kelsey's bar, and that's Archie Bunker's place.
Yeah, he must get that beginning of season 8 or something.
Yeah, I think it is beginning of season 8 when he gets the bar.
Because there's also, I didn't watch, it was like a 3-part episode where he cheats on Edith or something. Some waitress is trying to fuck him. I don't know.
Yeah, like I didn't watch that one, but I was reading about. Yeah, where it's like, like, as you said, one of the few things that this show dealt with was infidelity.
Just to see, and I clicked on most of anything that was like super offensive. I was like, I got to see how they handle it. So when I was going through, I was trying to watch most of the most offensive ones, like the one with the mentally challenged guy from the grocery store.
Oh yeah,
where he's like keeps calling Gloria his girlfriend and this and that, and and like I said, they're not afraid to use the R word. They throw this shit all over the place. The Swingers episode where Edith answers an ad looking for friends, but it's like literally it's the Rue McClanahan Swingers.
It was great. Yeah, it's like, they're just looking for a couple to be friends with. It's like, it just sounded so.
The one where was Archie gets in an accident and he's like faking an injury and he's like, I want a Jewish lawyer, and the guy shows up and he's like, oh no, I'm the guy that comes for, the non-Jewish clients. He's like, no, I want the Jewish guy, that kind of shit. He's like, oh yeah. And Michael's like, yeah, you only appreciate the Jews when they're about to fight for you in court. And he's like, well, of course, meathead. What the fuck?
Oh my God. But yeah, but one of the other episodes I loved was when Edith goes through her changes.
The menopause, yep.
Yeah. And like, she's going through mood swings galore. And at the one point, like, again, as you brought up early in the episode, you used the phrase stifle. And that's one of the things that he always tells that Archie said.
Stifle yourself, huh?
Yeah. Well, at the one point, like, Edith is having one of those mood swings, and all she goes, stifle, stifle, stifle.
Which apparently Norman Lear said that his dad used to actually say that to his mother.
Yes.
Well, and I sent you a picture of Archie in blackface.
Yeah, I was like,
from fucking that was from the episode where Gloria gives birth. It's a 2-parter.
Right.
The first half, I think Michael and Gloria are in like a Chinese restaurant or something. She gets stuck in a phone booth and starts going into labor. And Archie and his club, whatever the club he's part of, they're doing a minstrel show, as we discussed on the fucking, what was the Ted Knight fucking, what the fuck was that show called?
Oh, what? Too Close
for Comfort. Mm-hmm. They also talked about the minstrel show and the blackface. But Archie's like got stage fright, so he doesn't want to do it. But he's in blackface. And so the whole episode is him trying to get out of the show, and then he finds out Gloria's in labor, so he finally has like an out. Mm-hmm. But when he shows up at the hospital, he's in fucking blackface. Oh. And of course, chaos ensues, but yeah, I'm like, holy fuck. You're like, there's so many jokes in there about it. You're like, God damn. And they're like, if you don't do the minstrel show, we're kicking you out of the club. And he's all upset and shit.
Oh,
Archie and Edith, one of the greatest couples of all time.
One of the greatest couples of all time.
Anytime she has to do math is the funniest.
Oh, God.
The one where they're sitting at the table and she's doing the math and he's literally, he's doing the fucking, like, putting the fucking cyanide pills in the thing, taking it, drinking it. Yeah, Archie, you gotta listen or I gotta start over. The one that was really funny with that was the one with George Jefferson shows up and Archie had given him a fake 20 by accident.
Oh, right.
He passed him a fake 20 at his dry cleaners. Mm-hmm. So there's this whole fucking thing about you owe me this and you owe me that, and Michael's like, he's like, no, you owe him more than that because you know this bill. You got this. You got the $2 free of service, and Archie's just standing here holding money. And as their story progresses, the money is just going into George's hand, and he's just sitting there like, "Wait a minute, wait a minute," like. Wait, he goes, I had $35 here, and now I have nothing. And it keeps going like, well, you owe me $10 from the pizza last week, and you owe him $4. And by the end, he's like, I got nothing here. And George is like, you need something? And he gives him back his fake 20. He goes, there, now you got 20. And he's just like, freaking out.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's like, I saw the one where George is also running for I think it's for city council, like for the Republican ticket, and it's like
George Jefferson running Republican?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, because he had an ulterior motive, he wanted to actually buy the store next to him, knock out the wall, and and make his dry cleaner bigger. But it turns out actually the line, the city line for the different districts goes between those two stores. So he was running for the wrong district to do that. But he goes to Archie. It's like I need your I need a petition. I need your signature on this petition. It's like I don't care about your signature actually. I just need other people to see it and they'll sign. Like basically all the other Republicans. And then of course, like I was saying before, mentioned, Edith, her 50th birthday, where she gets basically attacked. So someone.
Oh, that's the one where the guy tried to rape her, and
yep.
That God, yeah. What the hell?
Yeah, that was such like a heavy, and it was a 2-parter too. I was like, oh my God, it's like we went there.
Yeah, that was a crazy episode, especially but that you have that long drawn out. He's undressing her, and then the cake in the oven though. With that great
oh my
payoff.
God, yeah.
When she fights back, oh my God, you're like, holy fuck, yeah. The audience apparently went nuts.
Yeah, Edith, she's always the, she's the dingbat. She's almost always like the she'll always defer to Archie for everything. It's like, and here she is like hitting the guy in the face with a hot burnt cake. and knocking him through the door and locking it. It's like, oh, like when you talked about before writing, would you consider this, as far as like the shows that we've watched, like one of the most well written shows?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely the bravest show.
Oh, definitely.
You have to give points for bravery.
Yeah.
On a sitcom like this at this time to tackle any of the issue, even one or two of the issues.
But all those issues, and again, that was the short list that Jay gave.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and you have to be able to laugh about these things. That's
exactly.
I mean, I've always been the guy who's like, there's no joke that shouldn't be told, especially if it sparks a discussion.
True.
And this show is the absolute omega when it comes to that.
Very much so. And
if we can't laugh at our differences, then what the fuck? You're going to sit there and be miserable the rest of your life? I mean, everybody's dealt a different hand. It's the way you play them that makes life worth living, I think.
Very true. And this is Jay's philosophy of the day.
I'm just saying. I've never.
Is that
I've
the
never been one to
Alka-Seltzer talking, or the?
That might be the Chlorocidin.
Okay, there we go. Chlorocidin.
It's either the Chlorocidin or the Fireball because it's gone.
Oh, okay. Don't try this mixture at home, boys and girls.
But yes, no. Let's go to the list. Where does this fall for you, my friend? I have a hunch.
This was very hard because it's. I'll be honest. This is topping the list here. But
this is our 42nd show?
Yes, I believe so. And I'll tell you, I put it at number 2, but it's one of those I'm considering putting it 1.
So your first was Taxi before.
Yes.
So you still have Taxi above it.
I still have Taxi above it, but it's one of those like, because Taxi was another show that was just so well written and the characters were so well fleshed out. So it's like, oh dear God.
Taxi's a little more, not to say mainstream, but a little more tame and reserved compared to the show. Not much. It still touches on issues, but not near.
But
the levels of this. Yeah.
All in the Family. And that's the thing. Do you give the points to All in the Family just for that? And also for, like, you know, being that sitcom that basically changed the rules. You know, like, again, going away from that wholesome rural type sitcom to, oh no, now we're going to go to a little more urban and, our main character is a bigot. It's like, oh, all right. Good luck on that. But yeah, do you give them the extra points for that?
Hey, number 2 is nothing to scoff at.
Right. So, but like I said, mine is like number 2 with an asterisk, like, and now Taxi is number 1 with an asterisk. So it's like, okay. One of these is 1, one is 2.
Where do you think I put it?
I'm going to say 1.
It's number 1.
Yep.
This is absolutely one of the most brilliant shows of all time. It wasn't afraid of anything, and there was not a single episode that I watched that wasn't funny.
Right.
And that made me think a little bit.
Yeah. No, it's one of the greatest shows. One of the
My
greatest
previous number 1 was still Night Court. I still had Night Court at number 1 before this. So if you're not the reboot, don't fucking watch that, which I sent to you, which made me laugh. They already fired one of the main actors.
Yeah.
I said they're following
one
the
is
old
already
footsteps.
gone. It's like, he was the love engine. Well, he's no longer.
Yeah, fuck it. One of their quotes said something like, "We're trying to go back to the eclectic cast of the original series." Well, you got nobody
good luck
there
with that.
for that. Yeah, you don't even have Dan back, so because the Dan that's on your show is not the Dan from the old show. So
nah.
Anyway, All in the Family is absolutely. If you have never seen it, you need to.
Yeah, it was also groundbreaking in other ways too. It was the first one that was videotaped before a live audience,
a live studio audience. So there's a difference between putting it on tape and just actually filming it,
and filmed before a live audience. Yeah.
Okay.
But and let's just real quick. The spin-offs were
Jeffersons.
Yep.
Spun off of this. Maude spun off of this. Good Times spun off of Maude.
Right.
The 704 Hauser was a spin-off of...
Yep.
Kind of. Really, not really, but...
yeah, well, it's the house.
Gloria, of course, was Gloria. Was there one other one? Oh, this Checking In was a spin-off of Jeffersons.
Archie Bunker's Place was the one you mentioned earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Checking In was, I think, Florence's spin-off from Jeffersons.
From Jeffersons. So, yeah, this is like such an amazing and groundbreaking show and led to so much more. And
I'm surprised Good Times didn't have a spinoff.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that myself. You know, like, it just seemed a lot of the shows also of the time did that. Especially very popular shows, like top sitcoms.
This is our biggest upset, I think, so far. This is the one that shot right to the top.
Yeah, it's you know what? I'm gonna make the change. I am gonna put this at 1 because even though I love Taxi, I love Taxi. This is just so good. So,
it's Archie and every character. Archie and Edith, brilliant. Mm-hmm. Archie and Michael, brilliant. Archie and Gloria, brilliant. Archie with random guest stars, brilliant. Now, imagine if they had killed him off, though. If that dispute went, can you imagine how this would have turned out?
Oh, yeah. I don't think you go on for 9 seasons. And I don't think you could get the...
I'm gonna go watch those 3 Archie is Missing episodes. I'm gonna see how the vibe feels without him, because I'm curious.
Yeah. I'm curious myself now.
Yeah. There's 3 episodes without Archie in All in the Family. That's weird to think about.
Oh my God.
And the whole time they must be going, "Where's Archie?"
Oh my God. You just said that and it reminds me of a different thing from I think you listened to Gilbert's pod, right?
Yeah, occasionally.
Yeah.
I'll still go back to it.
Like they were talking about Betty Davis and Joan Crawford, and apparently
Betty Davis eyes.
Betty Davis was famously nasty to people, but outright. while Joan Crawford was more, put on a facade of,
And then Mommy Dearest.
yeah, and then Mommy Dearest. But apparently, they were working on one movie together, and Joan Crawford at the end of the day would go to everyone, the cast and crew. It's like, bless you. And then the next morning, Betty Davis had already gotten there. Joan Crawford wasn't there, and she's like, "Where's bless you? Where's bless you?"
Yeah, go watch Mommy Dearest. You'll learn some things about. That's Crawford, right?
Yeah, that's Joan Crawford. Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah. And again, a different type of parenting than Archie.
Yeah. You'll never think of coat hangers the same.
Oh no. Yeah, especially wire ones. But
yes,
yeah,
go do yourself a favor. Watch All in the Family.
And also just marvel in the man that Norman Lear was, to when you start thinking about the succession of shows.
If you watch that 200th episode celebration in the 9th season,
Mm-hmm.
he hosts it, and you kind of get a sense of where he's coming from.
Right.
And it's because he introduces all the clips, and you really get a sense of him going they said we couldn't, so we felt like we had to. And I really appreciate that. Even to the point where when Archie's changing the baby's diaper, the network goes, "Well, you're not going to show the naked baby, right?" And he goes, "Well, why not? It's a fucking baby." He goes, "America's changing babies."
Right.
And well, you can't do that. And he goes, "Well, we did. And we showed the little fucking little Joey's pee-pee, and no one gave a fuck."
Right.
Because he goes, you're changing a fucking baby. And the network was having a fit. "No, you can't do that." I was like, "Well, why?"
Again, this show was groundbreaking, even to that extent.
He's like, "We're trying." He goes, "How many grandfathers watch this show and they change their fucking grandkids all the time?" He goes, "What's the big fucking deal?" Come on. Yeah. So rest in peace, Norman Lear. Thank you for everything
thank you, Norman
gave
Lear.
us.
And to any naysayers and such, I will give the famous Archie line of...
I love the one where he's trying to get Gloria to do it to her mother. She goes, "I will not my mother." Oh man. Well, if you want to find more from us, you can check us out on YouTube, Sitcom My Face, Facebook.com/Sitcom My Face, X or Twitter, however you feel that day. Sitcom My Face. He's NetNick191 on X or Twitch. I am at BidwellFog on X or Twitch. Yes, do join us on all your favorite podcast apps. And I would ask all of you kind folks to sitcom our beautiful faces.
Stifle it there, Jay.